sharing with you in this video how to create from a place of abundance instead of lack. And really what I believe is that if you can start to apply what I'm going to be sharing with you in this video, you're going to become a person that, of course, still experiences pain. You're still going to have problems. There's still going to be challenges that happen in your life just like anybody else. You're still just a regular person. However, though, you don't attach to the pain the same way. And I believe that when we can start to come to this point in our life where pain is just something that we can see still happens, but then there's no identification with the pain, that's when creativity starts to get unlocked. It becomes much easier to create from this place. And so the first thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to actually do this is to really have an understanding that this might sound a little bit airy-fairy or out there, or maybe not grounded in physical reality, but I will elaborate on the logical side of this as well. Just understand that abundance is your natural state. That's just what we naturally are, I believe. So I believe that naturally, who we all truly are, who every single person is, deepest at the core, is a naturally transforming being. We naturally change from one thing to another thing moment by moment, and we're naturally very adaptable creatures. Like, we're just able to change very, very easily, in my personal opinion. But what creates this resistance is when consciousness itself forgets itself, and then it attaches to some sort of form in the present moment, some sort of identification. Maybe it's a thought about who you are, about how negative your past has been, or maybe something that happened to you, right? And then we attach and we create an identity around this thing that happened to us in the past. And you'll find this, many people complain about something that happened to them many, many years ago, 5 to 10 years ago. And they say, oh, like, that's just who I am. I've always, been this negative person because this thing happened to me 15, 20 years ago. And it's like, when you're in that space of identification with something that happened to you in the past, naturally what I believe is that your creative life force, that life force energy that can have confidence to create new things moment to moment and be an adaptable person, just naturally gets stunted. So what's happening is that when you're attached to this, you can't be the best person that you can be. And so this leads me to the second thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to create from a place of abundance instead of lack, is to understand that what you want to start to do is have zero attachment to the past or the future. Because if you have attachment to the past or the future, you can't connect to the creativity and the life force that you can embody in the present. And of course, that's where the abundance lies, is in the present moment. The kingdom of all the things that you want, all the happiness that you want, exists, and you will find it not in the past or in the future, but in this present moment right now. And so oftentimes we're looking for happiness, we're seeking for something out there, but oftentimes the true peace is just simply to give yourself permission to embody the person that you want to actually be in this present moment right now. It's just about really giving yourself the permission slip. But the way to do this is by genuinely dropping the past or the future and grounding into the present. You have to see that you don't have to, but if you want to create what you want, if you really would like to see what your heart believes it wants to manifest in this present moment, I think that one of the quickest ways to get there, so to speak, and also the path of least resistance, not that there's not going to be challenges or resistances that come up, but least resistance to the resistance that's necessary to happen in your life to get what you want, is to drop again all the attachment to all the things that have happened to you, or even what you're going to create. Because even when you create it, if you ever get there, which I probably, I'm going to hope for you that you will get there, and I'm going to be positive, and I'm going to say that yes, absolutely you will get there. Even if that does happen, when it does happen, whatever the case is, you will have to ground it into the present moment and not attach to it. Because here's the thing, is that if there's an attachment to it, there's always going to be a fear of losing it. That's a huge problem, right? Haven't you ever heard about the study where 90% of lottery winners will lose all their winnings just in the first year or the first couple of years of winning all of that money. And so the reason why that is the case is because what's happening there is that there's an attachment and there's a fear of losing it, and there's no identity to be able to back up being that person that has the amount of money. And then think about this: haven't you ever had something happen in your life that has felt really amazing and made you feel super happy, and you finally achieved what you wanted, but have you ever experienced it where like there's some part of you that just can't be happy, and because of course you're afraid of losing it while you even have what you want? Or you can have everything happen perfectly and you can't even enjoy it because all you can see is the negative. So there's a fear of losing it there because of course you're stuck in your head, not you specifically, but a person that is in a continual fear of losing what they already have to begin with. If they already have something, they might be afraid of losing it because they're not grounded in the present moment. Oftentimes, people can't even see what they really have because they're just too stuck in their heads to really see what's going on in the present moment. There's so much thinking, so much things about the past. It's like you got to bring it into the present and see what you have right now. That's what's going to help you to create from a space of abundance. And so the final thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to create from a place of abundance instead of lack is to understand that when it comes to scary things happening to you that you don't want to see happen in your life, what I want you to understand is that there's really nothing to be worried about, because you're only going to create something negative in your life that you're really scared of if you give it enough attention and momentum. So oftentimes when finally something negative happens in your life, that it's like, see, I told you so that it was going to happen like this. And that's what you tell everybody, or not you, but a person can tell the world and everybody else. It's like, I told you so that was going to happen. Oftentimes that happens when you, of course, let yourself go on the path of giving lots and lots and lots of attention towards something negative, and then you build momentum in that area, and then of course it happens. And that's where you created something that wasn't real to begin with, and you made it real through your own choice to give it consciousness and energy. And that's the ultimate path of manifestation that a lot of people won't tell you. Not a lot of people will communicate this to you because they're really, what's happening is that there's a fear while this is all happening that something negative is going to happen that probably isn't even going to happen. And then we give it energy, we give it attention, and then of course we lose sight with the fact that it was just a thought to begin with, and nothing was ever lacking. There was nothing really happening in that present moment, and then we chose to follow that path. But instead, what you can do is, when a negative situation arises, if you're in a space of self-awareness, if you're in a space of being present, you can just simply make a choice to not give it energy. And that's a powerful technique that you can do. Every single time something negative happens in your life, anytime you have a negative thought or a negative emotion, why don't you just completely ignore it, not give it attention whatsoever, and then replace it with an immediate action that would prove that that situation and that thought was not the case. Prove the objection wrong, make it laughable so you can laugh at it. Laugh at your own fears, laugh at your own worries, put them out there, put the worries out there, start laughing at it. Tell people about it just to see how ridiculous it sounds. Put it out there, laugh at it, and then prove it wrong with action. That's what's going to remove lack, remove any sort of fear of something bad happening in your life, because you see that fear of bad things happening usually happen only when we let them happen, or we get too far caught in things that are probably never going to happen, but then we make it happen. And the truth is that oftentimes, what I want to share with you as well, the final objection that can come up in this conversation is, okay, well, that makes sense, but then what about the things that I don't have control over? Like, some things are just going to happen, that I can't control, and that's fine. So why stress over those things? Why put negative energy towards something that you can't even control anyway? And then oftentimes what happens is that if you put stress on something that you can't even control anyway, it's going to lead you to just do things that were even worse than they already were to begin with, only because you stressed out so much about something that you can even control over anyway. And oftentimes if we stop doing that, what begins to happen is that it just fades away. It fades away. The thing that you were so stressed about, so concerned about, it somehow finds a way to leave your life, because what you resist persists. And if you continue to resist something, it will continue to happen in your life. And of course, energy flows where attention goes. And if you're resisting something, you're giving it energy. Also, what angers you controls you. So what we need to begin to realize is that what we can start to do is just literally start to build a technique where, again, from that space of awareness, stop giving attention to negative thoughts, negative self-talk, negative situations, negative opinions that aren't adding to the situation of you being more abundant? Are you feeling more peaceful? Or are you being the person that you want to be in your life? And understand that it's every single time you believe in negativity, that's a choice. No longer can we play the victim. Can we say that, oh, I feel negative because of this thing happening? It's like, no, you can feel negative, but then are you going to keep giving it energy? That's up to you. That's your choice to continue giving something negativity, giving it intention and power by believing that it is true and that it is real, because it's not real unless you believe it to be and you manifest that reality and create it for yourself. And again, the final objection is, well, what about things they can't control? So if you can't control it, I would say in that situation, don't add fuel to the fire. Let the fire be the fire that it is. Try to put a fire extinguisher, try to do whatever you have to do to remove that situation from your life. But at the end of the day, don't throw more oil into the fire. Don't add things that are or wood or things that are going to make the fire get stronger. Just let the pain of life be what it is already. Don't make it twice the pain or 3 times the pain or 4 times the pain. Why add more pain to a situation that is not within your control anyway? Don't suffer about your suffering. If you're already angry, don't be angry about being angry. If you're already feeling upset about something, why feel upset about feeling upset about something? If you feel guilty about something, why feel guilty about the guilt? Why feel shame about the fact that you're guilty? Why not let an emotion just pass by, just like clouds are passing by in the sky? They come and they go and they flow, but you still are there as consciousness prior to all the negative or positive thoughts. And that's the place that I believe we should ground into, is that sort of groundless part of reality that is always there regardless of anything, that puts that the grounds. It's the groundless ground. It's the ground that is the groundless and is the formless before the form. And I think that if we can ground into this space, that's the abundance that we're looking for, because the kingdom of heaven, of course, exists in this present moment, and again, not in the past or in the future.